A top WWE superstar has re-signed with the company. Also, Nick Khan rejecting fan feedback, and we are going to talk about a huge WWE announcement. You know, it's really funny at times like this. WWE building the road to WrestleMania. A lot of people got a lot of things to say. So now we're going to actually know how WWE feels about it. By the way, sorry for my audio quality not being as great as normal, just making a huge shift. And in the meantime, I got to use this because we're having some technical errors. So hopefully, this ain't that big of a deal. All right, everybody. I want to kick things off first and foremost with Nick Khan. I am really pleased to discuss what Nick Khan is saying publicly. He was speaking at the NAB show in Las Vegas, and he stated that he basically believes that the company should not be really paying attention to social media. He believes it's best not to let social media influence what appears to be on TV. Khan said that trying to react to every online comment is a mistake and that the company should trust its instincts when making creative decisions. He also said, "We don't respond to social media. It is a mistake to respond to that. We have to trust our gut." Now, this is a little bit different from the competition. AEW pays a lot of attention to social media. I have always said on this channel, social media is not the end all be all. You got to pay attention to the reactions from the crowd, the people buying tickets. I do agree. You have to trust your gut, but you should also be able to pay attention to social media as well. But that cannot be the most dominant aspect of this, right? Like making big decisions for the future of your company. A lot of stuff on the social media is disingenuous. A lot of people aren't honest with their opinions. And I think for that reason, it is a good thing that WWE, Nick Khan, and Triple H don't pay attention to it as much. And of course, we have to point out the "We Want Cody" movement. Perhaps that was something that WWE wanted on purpose. I don't know. But the "We Want Cody" movement was a very big deal, and that was the company listening to fan feedback. I think that was a very interesting time period, but as you move forward with WWE, they kinda have a long-term vision, and I think they are sticking to their long-term vision. Now, whether it works, it doesn't work, obviously, the jury will be out on that, but you gotta pay attention to what the crowd is saying. People are paying money for tickets, and if they're not happy, then obviously you change course. At the same time, it is risky because social media is a there is a market for social media fans. Let's just say that.
Now would be the best time to remind you that we have a major goal to hit 100,000 subscribers. Over 40% of the viewers who watch this channel are not subscribed. Please click subscribe if you enjoy staying educated on everything with wrestling news.
Alrighty, and that brings us to our next topic. WWE has a new announcement. They have announced that Minute Maid has become the official juice partner of WWE. A new press release came out today with TKO and Minute Maid. It's the world's largest juice brand. You guys might know Minute Maid largely for their lemonade. But this is a new partnership. There's going to be a lot of integrations with Minute Maid and WWE programming. Under this new agreement, we're going to see them, with WrestleMania 41, SummerSlam. There's going to be branding across WWE television shows, Netflix, SmackDown, Raw. This is huge. Yeah, WWE is smart, man. They know how to get the bag. This is a big deal. What was crazy, though, was today there was a commercial that had already dropped. Bianca Belair, Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes being the face of WWE and Minute Maid with their partnership. That was a really cool video. That's out and about. WWE is super excited about this, obviously. For those who don't know, the parent company for Minute Maid is Coca-Cola. So the Coca-Cola company owns this. So this is a very, very large sponsorship. WWE has Prime and Prime Energy. Now they have Minute Maid. They're working with Coca-Cola brand. They're closing the big deals. I think that's great. This is how you make money. At the end of the day, people are going to hate WWE and their way of advertising and doing things like this. But I do think WWE is very, very smart in the sense that you are looking for these deals to close. You close these deals and you integrate the brand properly. And of course, with WWE making more money from sponsorships, that just means that this company is doing very, very well. They're taking advantage of the momentum that they have created for themselves. And that's what business 101 is. You have a lot of momentum, you try to take advantage of it by maximizing at all times. And WWE has established such a global recognized brand that this partnership, obviously, it's just a little sparkle. It's a little it's like the cherry on top, right? You're doing great things already as it is. You want to maximize. You're making money. Now you start calling the big shots with the big companies out there, and you actually, I think a lot of wrestling fans may disagree with me, but you actually should want wrestling companies to get these big sponsorships, um, because of the fact if AEW and WWE are getting big sponsorships like this, that means there's a lot more money to be invested in the pro wrestling world. The more money that's being invested, the more growth for the entire industry. So that's why I'm always going to be a big fan of big business deals. I'm very happy when I see AEW promoting Minecraft and WWE promoting these other things. That's just the reality. That's just the way it's going to be. And that's the way I would prefer it to be. But of course, we'll see what else happens. WWE continues to do these deals. And that brings us to our final topic. Gunther has re-signed with the WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, this is relatively awesome news. Gunther signed his deal quietly late last year. He was on Ariel Helwani's show. And I love this for a variety of reasons. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about at the moment, Gunther, top guy, was not considering any other option. He wanted to be in WWE. He re-signed a long-term deal with the WWE. But the thing that he revealed that was so puzzling and so interesting to me is the fact that Gunther has confirmed that part of his negotiations, he wanted a tour bus, and WWE granted that. Now, not a lot of wrestlers have this. Cody Rhodes, obviously, we know Cody Rhodes has one, but Gunther was smart enough to negotiate this, and he basically says, "You don't get what you don't get what you don't ask for." So Gunther is not going to AEW. He's not going anywhere else. He's not going back to the UK. On the Ariel Helwani show, he very much praised Triple H and this new regime. He was very, very happy with where he is. But he's also smart enough to say, listen, it was something I wanted. I asked for it. Part of his negotiation, it came true. And I think a lot of wrestlers can learn from Gunther and Cody Rhodes and any other wrestler who is asking for a tour bus. They're not cheap by any means, but it sure as hell makes travel on the road a lot easier. Gunther is a top guy in the WWE. It's very shocking to hear that nobody was even having reports about him coming out of contract or anything like that. WWE has secured his talents. Obviously, WWE is very smart. They knew exactly what they had with Gunther. They're taking advantage of it. There's no blunder here. They saw his value, and they're paying for it. And by the way, this is why we want a healthy wrestling industry. The more the wrestlers get paid, the better it is. And so if Gunther wanted to test free agency, I'm sure AEW and Tony Khan would have been right there. But it's good enough for WWE to also recognize their talent and not letting them walk. This is something that TKO is notoriously bad at with UFC. So it's nice to see in WWE that's not necessarily a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.